listen, when you talk about Family Feud, sometimes it's not just one family against another family. It's somebody who's dragged into both families because they have a foot in each other's camp. And so we're about to put Chris Mannix on the spot here from Sports Illustrated. Chris Mannix here on the program. Hey. I don't know if you're aware, but this show versus the Dan Patrick Show.
I read something about
Family
that.
Feud. You've been around us enough now.
I am, yeah.
And you've been around the Dan Patrick Show since Jump, pretty much, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Do you have a handicap on who do you think would be better equipped to win Family Feud? A tale of the tape, to use maybe your DAZN boxing acumen
that's
here?
a good one. I think there's a lot of matchups that I would consider a wash. I think the one outlier might be Fritzy, who has an absurd amount of institutional stupid knowledge, right? Like there's a lot of things that could be asked on Family Feud. Plus, he tends to take things, which could be good or bad, tends to take things a little bit sexual at times.
Oh, and so that might fit some of the...
It might fit some of the criteria for the questions.
Ooh,
okay.
Interesting.
All right. So you're saying his creepiness might come in handy, is what you're saying.
It might come in handy in a situation like this.
All right.
You know?
Okay, so Fritz is the one we need to look out for?
If the Dan Patrick Show comes out on top, my guess is that's because Fritzy has an absurd amount of knowledge of one particular subject.
Where we would look at him like, what's your malfunction? But in the world of Family Feud, it's a top answer on the board.
You'd be struggling with the you'd nail the bottom answers, then Fritzy would roll in with brimming with confidence that his top three would work, and they will.
But this is a man who once upon a time brimmed with confidence that his stand-up routine would crush, and we all saw what happened there.
He's brimmed with confidence about a lot of things that
That's what I'm saying.
National career
That's what I'm saying. It could backfire. What you're saying
that's
is
what I'm saying.
strength.
That's why he's the outlier. He's the wild card. It could go all the way in the positive direction and all the way in a negative.
Would you say Dan and I are a wash?
I think you're close to a wash. You both have been in the game for a long time.
Okay.
I'm not as familiar with your guys and their knowledge. Like if you ask if one of the categories is best use of maple syrup, like Paulie's probably going to be pretty good at that.
All right.
Absurd things to do with soccer, Seton would be.
Well, Seton is already, by the way, our radio audience just returned. Chris Mannix of Sports Illustrated is here breaking down us versus the Dan Patrick Show and Family Feud. Seton is already verbally mentioned on the Dan Patrick Show, on Peacock, which you can see here on Roku, that he's nervous. He's scared.
He's nervous.
Yes. Which we can use to our advantage.
Yeah. I mean,
certainly if we send Del Tufo out there with him. Del Tufo versus Seton.
I mean, I think Seton's wheelhouse is a very narrow lane, right? Like it's
got to be top 5 answers on the board. Here's your question. What's great about soccer? Music. That's true too. That's why we send you out there too. Yeah,
he's good.
Although I think TJ versus Seton, I think that might be the way to go.
Yeah, if one of those categories though is best things to do in Vermont.
We're finished. Oh, we'd have to lean on your. We'd have to lean on your New England.
I've been gone a long time too, but it's okay.
Okay, you don't shine shoes no more. No. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.